Hey guys, so welcome back to our last decision, which is the closing down decision. So if the decision is to close down, your alternative is obviously not to close down. So again, like with all these decisions, there's really only two alternatives, and in this case the alternatives is closing down or continuing. So example 5, a company operates 2 manufacturing sites, one in Jozi and one in Richards Bay. Given the poor performance of the Richards Bay division, the organization is evaluating whether it should close down the division. The following income statements are available for the latest financial year. So they give us the income statement for Jozi and Richards Bay, and at face value you can see Richards Bay is making a loss of 19,000, and therefore it kind of is highlighting why it should be closed down. Then it says the cost accountant has determined that should Richards Bay be closed, the following factors must be taken into account. So 75% of the salaries would be saved. So in other words, those salaries, 75,000, if we close down, will not have to be paid anymore. Retention cost of 1 million would be incurred. Staff making up the remaining 25% will be accommodated in the Johannesburg division. And these positions will not be created if the Richards Bay division is not closed down. So effectively 75% is irrelevant because that can be saved and that can be deferred. 25% will not be deferred because whether we close down or continue, we still pay for the 25%. Then the Richards Bay premises are leased in terms of a contract that cannot be cancelled. So in other words, what they're saying is that this rental premises, whether we close down or continue, we still have to pay that 5,000. Head office costs are allocated on the basis of sales, but the head office will still be there whether Richards Bay closes down or not. So therefore, it's still going to be incurred. And then lastly, sales cannot be transferred to the Joburg office. So in other words, if they close down Richards Bay, they lose out on that 50,000. So we have to assess whether we should close down or not. So it's basically simple. What are the cash flows for Richards Bay if we continue, and what are the cash flows for Richards Bay if we shut down? So if we shut down, you'll see that there is no 50,000 sales, right? So that's gone. There's no 25,000 for materials, there's no 15,000 for direct labor, so all of those is gone. So sales, direct material, direct labor, all gone. However, if we do not close down or continue, we still get the 50,000 sales, still have to pay the 25,000 materials, still have to pay the 15,000 labor. So therefore those three costs are all relevant because it differs with the alternatives. It's all relevant. Alright, now moving further along, the salaries. So, and just very important, we only focus on Richards Bay. The Johannesburg thing is a bit misleading, it's just Richards Bay. So the salaries, we will, in the 20,000, that 75,000 would be saved. So if we shut down, close down, we will still have to pay 5,000 of the salaries. Sorry, if we shut down, the 75,000 salaries, in other words the 15,000, would not have to be paid. However, if we do not close down, we still have to pay 15,000 of the salaries. So that 15,000 is relevant, whereas the 5,000 is not relevant because that will be paid whether we close down or whether we do not close down. Okay, so therefore it's only the 15,000 that's relevant. Okay, next we have the rental of the premises, which cannot be cancelled, and the allocated fixed costs, which is just allocated, so will still be incurred. So here you see the rental of the premises, whether we shut down or whether we continue, we still pay that rental. Head office costs, whether we shut down or whether we continue, we still pay the head office costs. So you can see clearly these two costs are irrelevant. Right, and then lastly, the only other thing missing here is the a retrenchment cost of 1,000 Rand. If we shut down, we have to pay retrenchment cost. So that retrenchment cost here will be paid, and if we don't shut, they will not be paid. So the 1,000 Rand makes it irrelevant. And you effectively don't even have to. I don't know why this is in the memo, so you can actually. Well, if we close down, we will still get the Joburg profit, and if we do not close down, we still get the Joburg profit. So you can see it's irrelevant. All right. So sorry guys. So from a company perspective, remember we're answering this from a company's perspective. So the company gets the total cash flows for both the Richards Bay and the Joburg division. So therefore we have to do this from a total company perspective. And so if we close down, you can see that there'll be a positive 6,000 cash flow if we close down, and if we do not close down, there will be a positive 2,000 cash flow. Now 6,000 is 4,000 better than 2,000, so therefore based on this, the decision would be to rather close down, because we will be 4,000 better off than if we do not close down. Alright, and again you can see all we did was we say, okay, what are the two alternatives? What is my cash flows under the two alternatives? Take into account the differential cash flows, and then based on that decide what's relevant, total the relevant cost, and as they say, Bob's your uncle. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this relevant costing videos. There's the MCQ that will be available, and then also I really encourage you to attempt that long question, because it's just going to be so helpful to help you with the question in the test or an exam. Alright, thanks guys, cheers.